Welcome everyone. This is your host Nikki, and today we have Priscillia Chukwuemeka from Nigeria joining us today, and she'll be telling us about the digital playbook, a code's guide. Now, we are absolutely thrilled to have Priscilla today. She is also the CEO of Noble Technology. And when we talk about possibility, she's already living them, right, Priscilla? She specializes in turning tech overwhelm into streamlined processes. And of course, she is also somebody who's helping coaches to attract more clients, skyrocket their venues, and also help them in automation and creating high converting systems. And she's also one of the few people who has proven track record of transforming scattered digital efforts into seamless automated success machines for top coaches. So if you want to know more about the tech how no behind the scenes of running a coaching business, Priscilla can be your go-to person. And with that, Priscilla, this is your time to take the stage. Let's begin.
Okay, hi everybody, and nice to meet us all. So my name is Priscilla, and I'm from Nigeria in Africa. So it's great to be here, and thank you, Nikki, for the opportunity to coach on this platform. So quickly, because I have a lot to dish out, I'll go into my topic for today, and I'll be presenting my slides as well. So please let me know if you could see my slides and if it's clear enough. So can we all see my slides?
It's still loading. Yes, now we can see your slides.
Okay, awesome. So yes, this is the topic of today. So I'm going to be talking about how, as a coach, you can leverage digital tools, many tools online, softwares to do what to boost your impact as a coach and to also grow your revenue online. And this has to do with knowing the right softwares to use, knowing how to get your target audience and how to streamline activities that can be overwhelming as a coach, because as a coach, you have to do follow-ups, you have to do conversions, you have to do a lot. So instead of having to do those things manually, there are softwares that could ease those activities for you, and you have good productivity and less stress to deal with. So now moving on, this is my outline. So I'll be talking about the current reality, meaning that what are the major or what is the current state of most coaches based on statistics. And I'll be talking about how advantageous leveraging the digital space is for coaches. And then I'll be talking about a 5-part digital ecosystem, more like a plan or a formula to leverage digital tools. And I'll also be talking about owning a professional website, which is one of the very important assets coaches should have. And then also branding on social media, which helps to attract the right audience, and also how you can now automate these activities, and then how to streamline your audience that have been converted to customers, and also how to build a system overall that sells for your business, whether you are there or not. So moving on. So yes, based on stats, most clients I've worked with or I've reached out to pitch my services or to explain how digital tools are important for their businesses. Most of them say, oh, I get referrals, oh, my clients refer me to their friends and their families, and they don't really see need why they have to go global, why they have to go digital, because they are probably comfortable or they don't really believe or see the possibilities in how the online space can get them a lot of clients and a lot of revenue. Now, another problem or another issue coaches face is they have to do a lot of manual tasks. I spoke to some coaches and they expressed how they get overwhelmed with having to schedule bookings, having to know the right client for each time, having to even miss some deadlines because they don't really know how to schedule and automate their meetings. And that's like a big deal in the coaching industry. Another big deal is no online system to nurture. Yeah, most clients just don't even have a database for their business. They just, have one-on-one coaching with their customers, and after that, they don't have a record of, okay, I met this client so and so month. We talked about this, and this is his data. Most people just, have one-on-one, and that's where it ends. And because of that, they lose track of repeat clients because they lose track of the client's data. Now, that's one of the issues coaches face. Then another one is, yes, they get so overwhelmed, like I mentioned, having to do the callings, having to send the schedulings, having to book the appointment, having to follow up, having to coach, having to, do a lot of emails, and all those things. They can be done on some specific softwares that I'll be explaining to us today. You don't need to do all of those stuff manually. We are in the digital age, and because of this, is wise for a coach to leverage these tools to ease your business and also gives you a better productivity. Then lastly, losing opportunities. Yes, all this falls down to the fact that because you're probably overwhelmed, or probably you do things manually, or you're not very organized in your scheduling, you tend to lose a lot of opportunities. You lose getting clients online. You lose even getting repeat clients because you lose track of who you're meant to follow up, and probably you're even chasing the wrong audience who doesn't need your service anymore, or who doesn't currently need your service. So all these issues kind of reduces the revenue and also reduces the number of audience the client should have gotten. Now, moving on to my next slide. Now, talking about the reason why you should go digital, yes, because I've spoken about the challenges and the issues. So now, why is digital solution the best bet for you as a coach? Now, first thing is, it helps you reach a wider audience outside your local network. Yes, like I said, some clients or some coaches, they work with referrals and they're like, oh, that works for me, that's okay. That's cool, but don't you want more? I believe in having so much more. I don't believe in settling for just the barest minimum, but just what is comfortable. You could go global, you could go to large stages through the words online space, not just stay in your localized area or having to just be referred to. Now, another reason why I should go digital is because it helps you build authority and visibility. Yes, as little as branding yourself on social media, you have a lot of visibility compared to you just focusing on referrals or word of mouth, advertisements. It does a whole lot. And who knows, a lot of opportunities lie in the online space. But if you do not put yourself out there, you will never be seen. That's just the truth. You will never be seen. So this is one of the reasons it helps you to become visible. It helps you even land jobs and coaching opportunities outside your own country. And most of them are even expense paid. So it even helps you travel, and it has a lot of that. Now, another is it helps you, using the digital space helps you automate your process to save time and boost professionalism. For God's sake, most clients just feel like, okay, I just have a landing page or a booking page and that's all. Now, if I'm to be a customer and I get to be referred or I get to see two clients online and one has just a booking page and that's all, and we just have a one-on-one. And there's another client who has a well-branded website, has a nice sales funnel, has follow-up newsletters. Of course, who shows more professionalism? The one who has more tools, who has more automation. Now, as a coach, you want to understand how the digital tools help you what? Save time and makes you more professional than competition. Now, I don't really say competition is the problem. In the coaching industry, some people say, oh, the competition is much. Maybe people are into my coach focus. Most people are into the mental health, fitness. Yes, that's true, but that is not really the issue. To me, I actually help clients see how that it is not the competition, it is you branding yourself that is the issue. Because if you stand out, you will not have to deal with, okay, who is competing with me? You'll be like at the top because you have more than what they have. So the issue here is not competition. The issue here is what? Visibility and standing out to be excellent amongst other people who are in your industry. Now, the next reason is it increases client engagement and conversion with systems that nurture leads. Yes, very important. Now, in client engagement, it works two ways. Now, it's either you have an email campaign in which you have automated newsletters sent weekly or bi-weekly or at least monthly. Another way could be is through your social media platform. If you brand yourself properly and you drop or you create related and solution-based content to your audience, trust me, people who need your service will find you somehow. And even social media has a way of making the algorithm rate you higher than other people because of your kind of content and how that it relates to some set of people. So you also want to understand that in getting, because some clients be like, oh, my engagement is low, my audience, I don't know where to find them. Even when I find them, they are not quality or they are not long term. Now the reason is because you don't have quality engagement. Now, if you have that kind of issue your coaching business, you want to look into what kind of engagement and what is the consistency of my engagement. Am I someone who puts out content 1 week and goes 3 weeks? And that is why you see a lot of virtual assistants online because they are high in demand because you cannot do everything. You cannot do all the tasks. Most coaches work in some companies and in their free time, they coach. Now, you cannot have to do almost everything, but then we have a quality VA who can help you. You can delegate this task to this VA, and they can help you with your engagement. That brings a lot of, audience to your page or to your website. Now, not to take so much time on that, moving on. Then another reason is it helps you stay ahead of the curve in the digital first world. Now, trust me, digital space is growing more advanced every day and every day. There's a new AI tool, there's a new website software, there's a new marketing software almost every day. If you search online, you'll find over 100 website softwares, over 100 CRM softwares you can use for marketing. Now, if you're not being up to date and you're not branding yourself enough, trust me, just a matter of time. People who are leveraging these tools, you'll be left behind and they'll make most of the money because they are the one that are at the top. People don't even care about, oh, is your coaching cost $1,000, $2,000? What they care is, do you have my solution and are you professional enough? It's a lot of track record. That's what they want to see. And no one can see that in your locality. They see it more when you post or when you show that online by what branding yourself properly. Now moving on to my next slide. Now, yeah, my 5-part digital coaching ecosystem. Now, this talks more about, okay, what is like the process? I've talked about the issues, I've talked about the reason why you want to leverage digital tools, and I'm moving on to how do you now do this? Now, first thing, or let me say the 5 major parts that coaches have to focus on, more like the KPIs of your coaching business. KPI means the key productive activities. So now, you need a professional website. Here, like I mentioned, you need not just a booking page or a calendar link. You need a professional website. Like you need a website that has a home page, a contact us page, a service page, a testimonial page, such that if you are found on Google, I don't need any more conviction. Your website already does that for me. All I have to do is what? Make a booking, which you receive at your end. But when you just have a booking page without valid or valuable conviction, it makes it difficult. And that is why I've seen clients who allow me go through their help, who allow me evaluate their business. And I see that they have a lot of website visits. But what happens? They do not have a lot of what conversions. And that's because their website is probably what's the word now? Not professional enough, or not even converting, or not elegant, or not modern, or has some functionality issue. So you have to have a top-notch website, which helps you in what conversion. And also a sales funnel. Sales funnel is more like you have a landing page that has a form, and this form leads to a series of emails that are educative for a new prospect. More like I land on your page, I read some contents that entice me. I make an opt-in, and then you have a backup funnel for me that explains why I need to buy your service. And better still, it comes with a freebie. Now, most people, you might not really feel it that way, but most people love free things. The best catch for any business, both startups existing and very old businesses. If you are looking forward to get new leads, the best bet is have a lead magnet. A lead magnet is a freebie that helps you to attract people to sign up to your website and get exposed to a series of emails, which has high chance of converting them to become what? Long-term customers. Now you want to have that as well. Now also branded social media. Yes, very important. Yeah, I know that some people do have social media pages, but the question is, how much do you make from these platforms? Do you make as much as you want to make? Do you have as much traffic as you really expect? Now, if you're not having this, you probably don't have a well-branded social media. So you want to look into your social media page. You want to look into your Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And in my years of working, I've come to understand how that there are some platforms that are best for coaches. Now, if you based on your focus on coaching, because I've worked with fitness coaches, I've worked with business coaches, relationship coaches, health, mental, and all of that. Now, LinkedIn is like one of the top platforms where coaches can find serious-minded leads. Another platform is what? Facebook. Facebook can be so mixed with different kind of set of people, but LinkedIn is more streamlined. Now, I want to look into your Instagram, your Facebook, your LinkedIn. Is my social media branded well enough? In fact, I advise some coaches. Now, if you want to know how branded you are, compare your page to a very top page in your same industry. For example, you offer mental wellness coaching services, and probably you know or you can search for another brand that offers same service and is doing better than you. Now I want to compare their branding to yours. Most times the other person has a better branding page. They have nice and quality PNG pictures on their pages. They have nice content. They have, they have a consistent routine of posting. They run freebies, they run discounts, they do a lot of strategic engagement. Now, I want to compare that. That will tell you where you are slacking at. Now, the next thing you also want to have is automated workflow. Yes, and I do recommend go high level. Now, as a coach, if you're looking into having a website, having to have marketing, you're looking to have your leads in a particular software, you're looking to host your courses, you don't need to operate 5 softwares. You don't need to operate 6 softwares. You don't need to operate WordPress, operate MailChimp. That is one of the one of the best ways to get burnt out and to even to spend a lot of money, because each platform has a subscription payment that you have to pay monthly or yearly. Now look into an all-in-one platform that gives you all of this. You have Go High Level. And for your branding on social media, if you are someone who likes to try things out yourself, you could leverage Canva. And now for streamlined client onboarding, yes, you want to have a um a lead magnet funnel, a sales funnel that, okay, once a client sign up to your page, in a month's time, you already know what you need them to know about your business. In 2 months' time, you know where you want them to be. Do you want them to be taking your first course? Do you want them to be at your freebie? You have to have an organized onboarding process. And you can also have this automated as well. You have what we call a workflow. A workflow helps you process the movement or the progress of leads from one position to another position, meaning it helps you track how a lead moves from an opt-in form to a lead magnet to your first open email to the second open email to try your first course and all of that. You can see all of this when you have a well streamlined client onboarding. Now, the fifth strategy is having a lead nurture and conversion system. Now, this has to do with a combination of all I've mentioned above. Now, for you to have a lead nurture or conversion system, it has to do with you having a website, having an automated workflow, and having to also have an analytics where you can, process and evaluate your business weekly or bi-weekly. Now, moving on to my next slide. Now, this talks about, okay, own your online space with Go High Level. Now, I mentioned Go High Level earlier and how that is one of the best for coaches. Now, you can post your website, you can post pages, track lists, capture payments. Like I mentioned earlier, one system, multiple tool in one place. I mentioned you can have your website, you can have your CRM, you can have your leads, you can have your courses, you can have your membership. Instead of having to juggle 5 to 10 softwares and spend so much money, and also spread your energy throughout so much platforms, you have one focus and you have one goal in mind. Now, moving on to my next slide. Now, yes, branding your social media, like I mentioned earlier. Now, how do you brand your social media? It comes by not just having focusing on post. Now, you want to leverage creating reels. You also want to leverage having free webinars, going live on Instagram, going live on LinkedIn. It helps to what? Attract the right audience. Now, you don't just want to brand yourself. Now, have you ever or do you even have a brand color? Do you have a logo? Do you have a brand font? Have you branded your business such that if I see a logo of you somewhere, I know that this is this person's business. If I see a mixture of this color somewhere, I know that this is your business. Now, branding on social media has to do with you knowing you have to have a consistent color. You have to have a consistent logo that you find both on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on your website. Not that you have one type of logo on Facebook, you have a different one on Instagram, but the same name. That doesn't show so much of professionalism and does not show consistency in your branding. Now, other thing, you also want to leverage Canva. I mentioned Canva earlier, how that is a go-to platform for beginners or for whoever wants to leverage the social media branding. Now, Canva is a great way to do that. Now, moving fast. Now, yes, automate your repetitive tasks. Now, in coaching, there are some tasks that you keep on doing every time, day in, day out. It's just part of the coaching industry. It's a process. Now, example is booking appointments. Another is what um getting leads. Now you might probably say, okay, every month I want to have a routine where I at least onboard 10 new clients or I at least onboard 50 clients. Now, in this your plan, what in this your routine or this your goal, what is the plan to it? You just want to keep on calling, you want to keep on doing appointment settings and doing cold callings, cold emailings that really don't work as much as you want. And also it has to do with a lot of what reach. For example, you want to have 100 conversions, you should be looking at reaching out to 2,000 people, 2,000 cold DMs, 2,000 cold emails. Why? Because the more reach you have, the more conversion you get. But instead of doing all of those stuff manually, you can automate them because there are things you have to do monthly, 2 months, or bi-weekly. Now, tasks like this don't really need to always do them manually. You could just do what? Automate them. Like I said earlier, you have software. There are a lot of amazing softwares. I've mentioned some here. You can also make research to find more. These systems just help you do this in minutes. Like you don't even have to be there. You could be asleep and you could set that, okay, by 12 a.m. my time, I want this message to go out to another time zone that will already be in 7 a.m. You don't have to wake up by 7 a.m. their time to begin to start typing manually. You already automate the system. So while you are sleeping, while you're at work, while you're on vacations too, your system still works for you because of the power of what? Automation. Now, I mentioned now setting up appointments, reminders, payment confirmations, all of this stuff, they can be automated. You don't have to do everything manually. Now, it also helps you to free up your time and create work. You create workflow once and they run forever. As long as your subscription on that software is still active, your automations won't have a break. It's not like automations have functionality issue, except if from the start they are not well created. But if they are well created from the start, it is a system that runs while you are not even there. Now, moving on to the next slide. Now, streamline client onboarding and management. Yes, deliver a seamless, excellent client experience. Now, this talks about how you onboard new clients automatically. Now, I mentioned something like a sales funnel earlier. Now, this is something similar to that, where a customer comes to your website and signs up on your form. And the first thing they get is a what? Welcome email. Now, I've got to test a lot of website form, and in a day, I get no email. In 2 days, in 5 days, in 1 month, there's no email sent. Now, websites like that, or businesses like that, they are losing money. Because if I signed up on 5 coaching websites, and out of the 5 coaching websites, 2 or 1 of them sent me a follow-up email, I'll feel so valued that I'll go back to those 2 and neglect the remaining 3. So you want to understand the power of onboarding. Don't just say, okay, I have a website, a great website. That's cool. But do you have an onboarding process for those leads that sign up on your website? You want to understand that you have to create a streamlined process, an automating process that helps to convert your leads. You don't have to be the one calling them. You don't have to be the one sending SMSs to them, manual SMS. You don't have to be the one, following up every week, manually calling them. Okay, let's say you have 100 clients. Can you call 100 clients every day and not get drained? When you have tools and software that could do that for you, even faster than you would. Now, talking about manage client progress in one dashboard. Yes, the fact that you have your system automated, it helps you manage your client's progress in a dashboard, meaning you get to see the track record of every single lead you have. Now, it's not like you have 10 leads today and you only see data for those 10 leads. It's a compilation. It adds to the previous leads such that if I go to my dashboard today and I have 100 leads, I can see the data and the performance of those 100 leads. If by next week I recruit or onboard 20 more people, I don't just now see those 20 people, I see the 120 people. So now this helps to put all your data in one place. And now you don't have to deal with spreadsheet chaos. Actually, yes, we're in the 21st century. You don't deal with spreadsheet chaos or inbox overload or having to, oh my God, I have a lot of DMs to respond to. Your online system could do that for you. And that's why I'm trying to explain the power of leveraging digital tools. Now, clients feel guided and supported from day one. Yes, the fact that I explained that I sign up to a page and one of them follows up on me by having a setup email and the other doesn't even have any welcome email. Of course, that is not going to attract me. So now, instead of you having to be the one to explain, okay, after signing up, do this, do that, the system already shows and guides those leads where they are meant to go, the button to click, the page to go to check whatever information they have to check, to sign up, to pay for your course. And you wake up in the morning and you see that you have 5 new orders. That's amazing. You don't have to manually get orders. You could leverage tools to get those orders. Now, my next slide is talking about now building systems that sell for you. Now I've talked about the focus, meaning I mentioned how you should have a branded website, how you should have a branded social media, and how you should have a well set up onboarding process, which makes up the words 5 formulas. Now for this slide, now this talks about, okay, now what are those things you can automate? Now, build system that sell for you, the automated lead to clients funnel. Now, this talks about funnel flow, free resource attracts leads, landing page collects emails, email sequence nurtures interest, booking page converts to clients, go high level powers this entire flow, and let your system warm up your leads. This is just buttressing the point of me trying to explain earlier how that you need some specific you need to leverage some specific tools in your coaching industry, which doesn't make you overwhelmed and doesn't make you confused or make your clients confused. And I mentioned freebie, which is what I have here, free resources, which attract your lead. You want to have a freebie. You want to have a landing page or a home page of your website that attracts leads. And you want to have an email sequence, which is a sales funnel. Then you also want to have a scheduling or booking page. And this all can be done on Go High Level. And if you can have all this in place, trust me, you already have a system built. That's just the beauty of it. You can have an automated page that links to an email that links to a freebie, and that links on to workflows. That is a system you created for yourself. And you don't even need to employ someone to to focus on your website, and that person for your email, and that person to, having to employ so many people when a system can run all of that for you. You might need to employ one person to set them up for you, but you don't need someone to, always keep on tracking each part for you. More like say you don't need 5 people to track, one to track your website, one to track your emails, one to track your workflow, one to track your they're already linked together. You just need to keep on checking the analytics, and probably if you see, okay, my performance is poor this month, you can seek help to know where the problem is. But you don't need to spend money again to keep on for paying someone to manage your website, manage your email, and that person to manage. That would be too much for you. Now, that's what I'm talking about, a system that works irrespective of you being there or you putting in manual effort or not. Now, moving on to my next slide. Okay, so now my final words, you don't need to do it at all, just start and pick one system. Yes, like I mentioned earlier, you don't have to juggle 5 softwares. Just find one platform that has all that you need. There are thousands of coaching platforms. Now, most people just believe when I say platform, they think website alone. Now, I'm talking about website, and I'm talking about websites, email marketing, courses, and all that your business needs. You might not have courses now to sell, but you might have a plan to sell courses in the future. If you need to do that, you don't need to now, okay, let me manage a website platform, then later I'll look into migrating. I've seen many people who want to migrate, and then the cost of shutting down their website for just a day because they want to migrate does a lot to them. They lose a lot of clients and a lot of resources. And I don't want to be in that kind of case where you might have to migrate, and then in a day or 2 days, where the expert is working on that, you're losing clients because you just have to migrate if you want your business to get bigger. But then it comes the pain of what's losing money in a day, 2, or even 3 days, depending on how much work needs to be done in migration. So you want to look at, from your starting point of coaching, what platform will give me all my business needs, such that once I launch from there, I don't have to migrate anymore. I just have to build and expand. So now, this brings me to the close of my coaching. So I'll just make a little recap. So I talked about the issues coaches face in the coaching industry, and then I talked about why coaches should leverage online tools and not rely on just referrals or word of mouth advertisements, because who does not want it bigger? Everybody does want it bigger. Everybody wants to go global, not just be in your locality. Now, I also talked about some focuses that as a coach you need to pay attention to. And I mentioned having a professional website, having a well-branded social media, having a proper sales funnel which contains series of emails, which helps to convert customers towards clients. And then I talked about how that you can create a system that works for you even when you are not there, and even when you are not actively on that platform, as long as your subscription is active. And I talked about how that you should have a website, you should have a lead magnet, you should have a setup funnel, and you should have a workflow that now helps you move clients from one stage to another stage, and even to the point of retaining them. Now, it's one thing to get clients, it's another thing to retain them. Most clients also have issues with retention. They always complain about how they need to get new leads every time, and it's so tiring. And I'm like, okay, what happened to your previous leads? And they tell me, oh, I don't really know how to get to them anymore. And that's because they've closed their eyes, or they've been ignorant about the fact that they need to retain clients. Because if you can retain clients, it pays you better that you have to work with, let's say, 100 people monthly, and they will probably have similar problems, and just 1 to 2 webinars monthly can, suffice them, and probably some one-on-one, compared to every month need to get new hundreds and new hundreds and new hundreds of clients. That's a lot of work. And of course, you need to pay as well to get those leads. But you can just create a system that helps you get them, and helps you keep them, and helps you nurture them to become or to stay as long-term clients. And then I talked about yes, I talked about the system, how that once it's set up, you don't need to keep on employing people to manage each sector. Of course, you could have one expert to manage your whole system, but you don't need different specific people to manage different specific areas of your system. Now, I remember mentioning Canva and Go High Level as one of the top platforms when it comes towards having a coaching system and also branding yourself on social media. And now, with this, I'll put my coaching to a close, and I would like to get questions from everybody because I do love questions and I love explaining and teaching as well. So thanks for having me, and I'm open to your questions.
Priscilla, we do have a question in the chat. It says it's quite informative. I'm so sorry I missed it.
Okay, from Miraraj, right? Oh,
Mhm.
Miraraj from LinkedIn. I quite know this name. Okay, so we talked about social media and different platforms, but what do you personally find most effective for the type of content on IG? The type of content. Okay, Miraraj, I hope I got that correctly, and apologies if I did not. So now, for Instagram is quite luxurious in the design. Now, if you look at LinkedIn, most times you might not really get to see so much quality content, but it still goes. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't post quality content. But Instagram, you have to be 100%. You have to meet perfection. Now, the kind of content you want to have on Instagram is not one that is lengthy or one that is bulky. People on Instagram are used to images. So you want to leverage graphics. You could employ a graphic designer or a social media manager who does graphics well to help you put up nice images that carry summarized engagement or summarized information. On LinkedIn is a platform where there are a lot of contents. You cannot create a post without having like 6 lines plus your content. But Instagram works with graphics. So you want to leverage the power of images and graphics for your Instagram. And in doing that, you also want to leverage having keywords. Yes. For example, if you are posting about a story of your client on LinkedIn and you are so detailed, on Instagram, you have to summarize that story into a carousel, meaning into a slide, probably 4 to 5, that's okay. And your caption as well, very short with strategic hashtags, unlike LinkedIn that you can, write all the stories.
I want to have a hand.
Oh, hi. Um, Hi, do you have a question, ma'am, or are you Miraj? I'm trying to find. Okay, Miraj.
Hi, Priscilla. Sorry, I'm here.
Okay.
First of all, you pronounced my name correctly. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I understand that Instagram is more focused on images, but in terms of like you as a coach, do they prefer advice? Do they like stories? Do you find that there's something that works for you? I mean that you base the content that you base your images on?
Okay, so this your question is applicable to all platforms actually. Now, yes, Instagram works with images, but stories still sell the most. Yes, stories. If you yourself is going through, you are going through a page and you come across a story, you tend to pause on that story. When you just see a news, that's just like boring. So leveraging the power of stories, even when you want to explain your experience with a client, saying it in a story-like way attracts audience to you because they can relate to what you are saying because in a story. So yes, in leveraging graphics, you also want to make more of your engagement story-like. It does not have to be something so something so deep. It could just be something with a hook of a story. Okay, so yesterday I met a client named this and we had a great time. Then you could use that as a hook to explain what you want to give out for that week. So yes, stories and also advice, but more of stories. You could now chip in your advice inside the story to attract their attention. So did I explain that perfectly?
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Priscilla. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
my pleasure. So I think I have another question. Okay, is it possible to get the demo to see the functionality?
Sorry, Priscilla, to cut it. We have Omar waiting. Can we go ahead with his question first before we take
Okay,
more questions?
okay, sure.
Yes,
So
Priscilla.
Hi,
what?
Omer.
Okay,
Hi there. Thanks, Nikki. Thank you, Priscilla, for everything. I'm just going to go
you're
straight
my
to the
pleasure.
question. I got, in fact, a bundle of questions. One, the general challenge for those who do not work on social media or technology with that context usually is a lot of expertise there now, which we may not have, our areas of expertise. And two, which you touched upon, and I want to hear more about it, is the time it will take away from us. And naturally, when we don't have an expertise on something, it takes more time and effort and energy from us, right? Draws more from us. To be able to manage that, it seems to be a challenge if we do it, which you seem to be suggesting, say, for example, the website or the platform rather that you shared with us. But where the two questions are, where do we decide, you know what, we can't do this, I'd rather outsource it to someone else? And two, in your experience, because coaching is a very intimate and personal experience, at what point of this journey do you recommend, with your experience, we should have our personal contact with the potential client or the client himself?
Okay, so if I get your question right, the first one is, where do you know you need to where do you know you need to delegate the task, right? Now, that question now, when you see, okay, this is too technical, or I've been trying this and I do not really see results in it in a month to month, that already shows you that you need an expertise. And if you are one who loves to learn, I've had clients who will go on a one-on-one and I put them through how to leverage or how to use it too. And like, oh my God, I didn't know that this was how it works. I've tried it so many times and it didn't work for me. Now, if you are one who likes to try things out yourself and who wants to learn, and you have the time on your hands, you could pay an expert to coach you on the platform, which you get the knowledge from, and you could easily do it better than you were doing before. And if you are someone who doesn't even like tech, or you are just so busy, if you see that it's overwhelming and probably what you've been doing for a while, you do not see any progress, then that already shows that you need help. And you could start with having a one-on-one talk to know, because now that thing is every client has different issues. Yes, and they have different focuses in the coaching industry. So I always advise clients to have a call with me, a consultation, where you explain your issues and I tell you where it's coming from and the solution to it. So in answering your question, once you get or you begin to feel overwhelmed, or you begin to feel you've tried many things and it's not working, that's already a sign that you need to get the help of an expertise. Because trust me, if you keep on going in that line, you either get more overwhelmed and you also waste time in the results you are meant to have gotten months earlier. So did that answer your first question? Okay, now the second, sorry, could you remind the second question?
Second question is, in the series, where do you suggest that our personal contact and our personal touch should come in with potential client?
Okay, so now personal contact is two ways. They having yours and you having theirs. Now, from the first contact with your client, you want to have their details. And that was why I mentioned having a proper website. If you have a proper website requires the information of your clients, their name, their emails, probably their address and phone numbers. And that's their personal information. Now, a new lead, you need to have those information of that new lead because it gives you a better access to following up on them, and that way you don't tend to lose so much of clients to other competitors. Now, in them having your details, well, it depends on you, but the ideal process is you have a personal information and you have a business information. Now you have your business information on your page where they can have access to, meaning you have your personal email, you have a business email, you have a personal phone number, you have a business phone number. So that way, if you are someone that you are so private and you don't want to have personal reaching out from just anybody, you could create business-based information. Because the deal is people have to reach you. Some people might reach you through your number, some people could reach you through your email, some people could reach you through social media. But if you don't have those details on your website or wherever you are visible, then that is already you losing out money. So if you are some private, I advise you have a private detail which you do not share with your business clients, and you create business details you could easily share to those people, because you never can tell. They could even refer you, but if you do not have your details, then that would be very difficult for them to do so. Was that clear, or do you still have questions?
Actually, I do, if I'm not hogging anyone else, but it's the same question. I would like to rephrase it perhaps, that once we have an automated process, it's an impersonal process. And when someone wishes coaching, it is the closest cousin of therapy of sorts, but it's a very personal contact that they would require. That's why we have discovery sessions. So in that automated process, where do you, by your experience, recommend that personal contact should happen, that it becomes more personal and not automated and not impersonal? That was specifically my question.
Okay, are you saying in the system, system processing, at what point do you need to get the details of your clients based on your own kind of focus, which is the words you mentioned something about therapy and a personal kind of one-on-one coaching? Well, I'll still say the same thing, because for someone to even be in your system, they must have dropped some information that you have access to. But at least you could get their name and their email on first contact on your page. But now, along the path, I recommend that once they've gotten they've gotten access to your first course, yes, of course, you want to retain them, and in aim to retain them, you need more details from them than just their name and email. So if I get your question clearly, at first contact, you need at least their name and their email address. Now, while they've been exposed to your first course, it's also ideal to have more information from them at that point where they already purchased the course from you, because you want to look into retaining them. So you could create a system such that the workflow has it that from the lead page, the sign up, save the emails in this tag or in this fragment of my system. And when they purchase my course, let them also be able to leave so and so information. Let the system capture this such that you have information of people who have taken just your first course and they could move on to the next stage, which can be more personal than the first contacts. I don't know if you're getting me. Was that very clear?
Priscilla, sorry to just step in. I think
Okay.
I just try and explain what Omar is trying to say. So when do I, as a human being, interact with my client? So we normally have discovery sessions, which allows my client to get a feel of who I am and whether they want to work with me. So at what stage in the process does my client physically, or rather virtually, but interact with me as opposed to automated systems? So I think what he was asking is, where should we put that interaction? Is it after, they've maybe opted into some course that I have, or do we put it in, as part of the booking page where we say, put in your details. If you want a discovery session, click here. So that's what he's asking. At what point in the automation do we then add the human touch?
Okay, thank you, Molatsi, if I got that right. My apologies. Okay, now I think that is based on the coach. Now I've seen many websites where they have the discovery links on their booking page, and some do not have, but when you come into the system, they have. Now I also feel it's based on your focus and your coaching focus. Now something like the fitness line most people just have their discovery calls on their page, like first contact, you have access to that. But in terms of relationship coaches or breakup coaches or mental coaches or psychology coaches, people who focus in more sensitive niches, they do not just put discovery calls at first contact. They do that once someone is already into the system. So I do recommend, based on your niche focus, if you are focused on a sensitive area of coaching, having a discovery call at first contact might not be so ideal. But because people might not really be so open to you the first time, so having that might not really be effective. But if you deal with what is not so sensitive, like fitness, culinary, sports, and all of that, real estate, you could have your discovery call at first contact. For sensitive areas, you could have it once they come into, after the opt-in, and probably they've been exposed to your freebie before having access to your first course, your first paid course. You could have a one-on-one with them and a personal relationship with them. So did I get that clearly now? Okay, thank you, Omar. And thanks for breaking that down better. That's too much. Let's see. Thank you very much. So do I have more questions? I'm loving this.
Yes. Yes, Priscilla. We have one more question. The first one that's from Jerick. He says it's
Okay.
quite informative, interesting, and seems technical. That is worth to run by again. Is it possible to have copy of the presentation or points?
Okay, do you mean access to my slides? Oh,
Yes.
yes, I could do that. Yes, of course. I could send that over to Nick or who.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I could send that over to you so you could share it with the audience.
All right. Okay. So
Yes.
basically, Priscilla, whenever you have the slide ready, we can share it across to the participants who came here today. And if we miss anything else, please put your email address in case you have different than your Zoom address. That way we can send you right across.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so should I input my email? Should I send it over to you, or where best do you want me to have
We
it?
do send out a welcome email and a thank you email to all the participants. And
Okay.
once I have that, we'll also send it across to the participants along with that email.
Okay, so I'll prefer to send it over to you through email,
Oh,
right?
yes.
That's preferable. Okay.
Okay. We have some more questions, Priscilla, if you're open to.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah. We have a question from Renu. Is it possible to get a demo to see the functionality?
Okay, what particular functionality? Do you mean the website, the email, or which
Thanks. Hi, Priscilla.
particular?
Very
Oh,
interesting piece,
hi.
Priscilla. Hi, this is Renu. That was my question.
Thank
Sorry, I
you.
should have clarified. It's not a very clear question. There are certain automation tools that you talk about. I would like to get my head around them. Would it be possible to see what Go High Level offers as automation tools to make life easier for coaches?
Okay, that's possible because I actually have access to a client's back end that won't mind me sharing to just show how it works. But I don't know if I'm allowed to do that on this call, and if I do have more time for that as well, or if you could have a different time to do this, because it's going to take a lot of time, and the time given to me was 5 to 6 Dubai time, and this is almost 3. But yes, I'm open to showing anyone who's interested. You could get my email from Nick, and we could have a one-on-one session where I could show you the breakdown and you could really understand how it works.
Yeah, that would be quite helpful for especially
Okay.
those things that are unique to what you're doing, and that would make a huge difference, add value for us.
Yeah,
So that I would
definitely.
leave that decision to Nikki and the team.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Renu, if I
Yes.
got that right.
All right.
I
Yes, we'll
also saw
definitely.
that the website offers a 30-day free trial. Just for
Yeah, Go High Level does offer a 14-day actually. Well, I think currently now is a 30-day. I don't know if it's still running, but normally and naturally they offer 14 days where you still have to input your card details. So after 14 days, the payment is taken off. But if you do not like to skip the subscription, you could cancel after 14 days. Yes. So that's how it works. So the person who asked that was Sally Bowd. Yeah. So do I have any more questions?
Yes, there's one question from Aisha. What do you think works better for LinkedIn and Instagram? Videos or written posts?
Videos or
Written posts.
okay, actually videos do it a lot. However, a lot of people still pay attention to posts and not reels. So you can leverage both reels. You could do it this way. For every post you have, you create a reel. For every reel you have, you create a post so that the audience who likes to do more reading or leverage more of LinkedIn posts, you won't lose getting them from your post. And same for those who love reels, you won't also lose them from not having reels. So it's best to have reels and post for every content you want to put out. It could be once a week, it could be twice a week, but have a reel and have a post. And for Instagram, videos work actually. Videos work because Instagram, I think the algorithm does more of videos. So your reels work better on Instagram, but you should still have posts from time to time. But for LinkedIn, I think it's both ways. Yeah, based on what I've seen so far, LinkedIn works best with both reels and posts, but Instagram works more with what videos. You could even have a picture video. You could create a picture or some carousels in form of a word video. So that gives you a post and also a word in a video format. So yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. So many of my physical clients prefer physical contact rather than virtual. Okay, so Sophia, what is your coaching focus for you to have? Okay.
Greetings, Ms. Priscillia. Thank you for the profound insight.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I have been coaching in Saudi Arabia for a very long time, and most of my clients have been physical, not virtual. And I have relocated soon. Suddenly, I had to relocate to another country. I'm here now in Uganda, and sometime soon I'm going to Kenya, and then back to Saudi Arabia. This shift has made my clients unstable for them to have reliance on me. And I was thinking to open a website and do that. I haven't done that, but I used to take my clients on Zoom and Google Meet. But I'm losing clients now, and I'm in a verge of where should I start and what should I do? That's where I'm confused. And this topic that you have talked today, it's really basically like insight for me to start doing something. So how do I go about doing that? Thank you very much.
Okay, so first I'll have a question actually. What is your coaching focus?
Focus?
Yeah, your coaching industry, what is your focus in coaching? Are you in the fitness, health, relationship?
Transformation. I do transformation, educational.
Okay.
Yes, coaching and self-development.
Okay. Okay,
So
okay.
So
Yeah,
most
I'm
of
hearing.
them most of them feel so close to me when I'm physical with them, through the energy that we have and the conversation we have together. And most of them are sort of like don't like the virtual classes because they feel like the connection that we have is more profound than virtual. Some of them have come, but some of them have not agreed that, say we will wait until you come back. And I don't want to do that. I want to start something because I'm losing clients now. So this attachment with clients who don't want to, to outsource themselves on the website, or through website. Some of them, they feel like they don't want to be recorded. They don't want anything to do with the online classes, they want physical. So this shifting of mine going on and off to different countries, it's made it very difficult for me to keep my clients who want physical, and most of the clients that I have are physical.
Hey, okay, so that's a tough one. So can I go now?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'll say is the truth of this is you might not be able to retain all of your physical clients, but you could do more in getting a higher number by having a one-on-one with them, or you could just create a webinar, and on that webinar you explain to them how that you are not oblivious of how important they understand physical one-on-one, but also you also want to make them see how that virtually doesn't stop the interaction. So it means you have to do a lot of what's one-on-ones. Yes, because people might say, I don't feel the connection anymore. But trust me, if you can do a lot of one-on-one with probably your high-paying ones or the most long-term ones, that way you could still retain them. Because if they actually feel that they still get the same information and the same vibe with you virtually, that should still keep them. Yes, you might not keep everybody. Some people might still feel, oh no, I still want physical. But the idea is you still want to have a good number of retention. So it's on you to do a lot of one-on-one to retain them. And once they could come into that mindset shift, you can now do what's continue in that line, and also work on getting new leads that will comfortable and start your coaching services online. Because I think the issue they have is they begun with you offline. So that's what they are used to over a long period of time. So it might be difficult for all of them to adapt to being virtual, but you can still win a lot of them by having a lot of one-on-ones with them to convince them how that virtually does not stop the quality of your service, and then look into getting new leads as well, based on the fact that now you are going to be doing a lot of travel. So you might not really want to focus on physical anymore, but go virtual. And trust me, there are a lot of people in the online space. So even if you lose some clients, you even get ×2 of the ones you've lost. But you also want to know how to position yourself and visible to the right audience virtually to attract them and add to your current or old lists. So yes, you could start from branding on social media and having a quality website, like I mentioned. And if you still want us to discuss more, I don't know, that's up to Nick. If she could share my details with you, and I could explain in depth on how you can start leveraging the digital tools to get more clients, so you don't have to lose clients and lose money as well.
Thank you, Priscilla.
So was I able to cover a good part of your question?
Yeah, it has answered my question. But the thing is that I want to, most of the things that I've done is physically. So now I want to build how long it will take to all that you have mentioned earlier in the slide shots about leveraging digital tools to boost impact and revenue growth when somebody is just starting to learn how to do it, like me.
Okay. Do you mean how long it take you to learn, or how long it takes someone to help you set up?
Yeah.
Okay, the second or the first?
The
The
first.
second. Okay, the first. Okay, that depends on you, how fast you could pick up leveraging softwares and the amount of time you could give, probably in a week, to devote to that learning. So if you want to know, okay, do you want to have resources to watch yourself, or do you want to employ an expert to teach you? So some people like to self-help themselves. They like to learn things themselves. So YouTube is a very great platform. You go to YouTube, you can find almost anything there. Okay, how to set up a website, you find it there. But if you do want to hear from an expert, then that will be between you and the expert based on the time frame you can devote daily or weekly. And the expert tells you how long it can take based on your learning pace as well. But averagely, for you to learn at least the basics of a website, if you have some ideas in tech, well, let's say a month. But if you do not really have so much experience in tech, it could be a month, it could be more, and that depends on how much time you put into it as well. But trust me, if you want to try it yourself first, you can leverage YouTube. There are a lot of resources on YouTube and they're very free. You just have to have internet connection and you have access to a lot of information. And there are also a lot of softwares that are also free you could use as practice platforms to improve your tech skills. So yes.
And thank you very much for the insight. It really
You're
helped.
welcome. My pleasure, Sophia.
Yeah.
So would
Do
that
you,
be all
do you
from your
teach the
end?
courses for this leverage digital tools to boost impact and revenue growth?
Sorry?
Do you have a course for these sessions that we are taking now?
Okay. I really do not have a laid out course, but I could create one. But what I do is I mostly do one-on-one. So I explain to coaches and they get to learn from that. So I don't really have a PDF or an online course, but I could send my slides, like I said earlier, to Nick, and she could share it with you. So you could learn from that as well.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure. So would that be all from your end, or do you still have more questions? Okay. So, hi Nick, are you still with me? So are there still more questions for
Yes,
me?
yes.
Okay.
I think we've pretty much covered everything, Priscilla, and I've already added your contact details on the chat for everyone who wants to connect with you one-to-one. And please, people, connect with Priscilla. She's available on LinkedIn and she's also available on YouTube. And she's also available on Instagram if you guys want to connect and take advantage of any of her services one-to-one. And you can also ultimately email us on HQ Coach Transformation if you need any further information from Priscilla. And with that, let's wrap up today's session. I want to thank you everyone who stayed with us from starting till end, and especially Priscilla, who shared such wonderful and practical insights on digital tools. I know there are lots of tools, Priscilla, and you did your best to combine and compile everything into simpler and shorter versions.
Yeah,
And that's
actually.
also, yeah, yes. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Priscilla, once again.
Yeah,
And
my
for those,
pleasure.
yeah. And for those who has been with us for more than 60 minutes, please expect ICFCCE certificate by upcoming Friday. You should have delivered it in your inbox. And apart from that, next Tuesday, we'll be having peer coaching session, 5 p.m. same time. Till then, we'll see you again. Have a good day. Have a good evening ahead. And let's connect soon. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Priscilla.
My
Thank you.
pleasure. Thank you, Nick. And thank you, everybody. I had fun. So do take care. Have a nice day.
Thank you
Bye,
very much.
everyone.